مردم ایران به ویژه نظامیان ایران
West Asia remains in turmoil. Even as US and Iran held the first round of talks last week, America is massing warships and air power and has encircled Iran from multiple sides. The clock is ticking for a possible escalation. For the first time in 37 years, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei decided to skip a major annual meeting with the Air Force commanders. The signal seems clear. Iran is not taking any chances regarding his safety. Earlier reports suggested that he moved to a fortified underground bunker owing to heightened risks of a US strike. America has considerable military presence in the region. Towards the west of Iran, US has multiple bases in countries such as Turkey, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE and Qatar. In the south, the US military prowess got a major boost by the arrival of the naval fleet led by USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier group. President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and West Asia envoy Steve Witkoff's visit to this aircraft carrier after the talks in Oman is being seen as a veiled message to Tehran. But remember, this is not at all that US is eyeing strategic inroads in Iran's northern neighbors, Armenia and Azerbaijan. The American Vice President J.D. Vance has reached Armenia and he will visit Azerbaijan subsequently to focus on trade and investment. He will also seek to advance a 43-kilometer road and rail economic corridor that would open a new east-west trade route bypassing Russia and Iran. Meanwhile, Israel's role in this situation cannot be ignored. Remember, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with Trump on Wednesday to emphasize on the need for pushing Iran to limit its ballistic missiles and end its support for outfits like Hamas and Hezbollah. As per reports, Israeli defense officials recently told their American counterparts that they are willing to strike Iran alone if necessary. They made it clear that Iran's ballistic missile program represents an existential threat to Israel and outlined options if Iran crosses the red line. But Iran is digging in its heels. In a pre-recorded message ahead of the anniversary of the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei called on his compatriots to show resolve against foreign pressure. His advisor, Ali Larijani, will visit Oman on Tuesday.
National power is less about missiles and aircraft and more about the will and steadfastness of the people. Thank God you have shown your resolve and determination in various events. Show it again and frustrate the enemy.
Speaking with the media after talks with the US, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi affirmed that his country is not scared by the US military formation in West Asia. In fact, Araghchi warned the US that Iran will strike its bases if it's attacked. Iran has linked the possibility of diluting highly enriched uranium to lifting off all sanctions on the country. Araghchi's warning, remember, assumes significance as Iran has the largest stockpile of ballistic missiles in West Asia. The arsenal comprises multiple missiles, which have a range of 2,000 kilometers. This implies that most of US military bases in the region come under striking range of its missiles. For instance, Sejil and Khorramshahr, which have a range of 2,000 kilometers, can strike as far as the US base of Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti. Other prominent bases like Saudi Arabia's Prince Sultan Air Base and Jordan's Muwafaq Salti Air Base also come within Iranian range. On the other hand, IRGC has escalated its psychological warfare campaign as well. An AI-generated propaganda video depicts a catastrophic attack on the USS Abraham Lincoln. This video shows Iran's Fatah hypersonic missile splitting the massive carrier cleanly into two, sending F-35 fighter jets and crew members into a fiery sea. Now, Iran is also gearing up for a possible ballistic missile test as it issued multiple NOTAMs, closing airspace east of Tehran in the Semnan province. This is being perceived as a sign of Iran seeking to activate its desert bases like Semnan military complex amid chances of a confrontation with the US. In September 2025, in September 2025, reports indicated that Iran conducted a secret ballistic missile test in Semnan. Besides Semnan, the country has underground missile bases in provinces like Kermanshah. Tensions are palpable on the streets of Iran. In Tehran's Palestine Square, a giant billboard has been put up, displaying a map of potential targets in Israel's Tel Aviv. It carries a warning message reading, "You start, we finish." Although no breakthrough was achieved in Oman regarding the nuclear issue, a second round of talks will be held in the near future. However, looking at their military posturing, it seems that both sides are now preparing for the worst. Just 3 days ahead of the high-stakes polls in Bangladesh, women have taken to the streets. In Dhaka and across the country, women's and human rights groups have rallied against what they call a misogynistic politics and hate speech, directly targeting the Islamist party, Jamaat-e-Islami, and its leadership. These protests are organized by the International Women's Day Celebration Committee, a platform of 61 women's and human rights organizations. Agitations were held in front of the National Press Club in the capital. Simultaneous demonstrations were also staged in 50 districts outside of Dhaka. At the heart of this outrage were recent comments by Jamaat-e-Islami chief Amir Shafiqur Rahman, who described working women as being equivalent to prostitutes. In his social media post, which now stands deleted, the Jamaat chief said that women are not fit for leadership positions, adding that women are pushed out of home in the name of modernity. Protesters condemned the remarks as degrading, dangerous, and a blatant attempt to justify discrimination under the cover of religion. The groups also criticized the Yunus government and the Election Commission for their silence, saying that misogynistic statements during an election campaign undermines democratic values and women's safety. They're also demanding immediate action against any party or candidate engaging in misogynistic speech and called for an end to the use of religion in politics. But with just days to go for the general election in Bangladesh, the protest was not just symbolic, it was numerical. Bangladesh, remember, is home to an estimated 23.7 million working women. They are employed across agriculture, garments, education, healthcare, services, banking, retail, hospitality, and domestic labor. Activists say that these women form a powerful electoral bloc that can no longer be taken for granted. To put it into further context, let's tell you how 78 women are participating in this year's parliamentary elections. Experts say this only underscores how far the country still lags in ensuring gender parity in politics. Of these 78 women candidates, 61 have been nominated by 30 political parties, while 17 are independents. While women make up half the population, they clearly account for only 3.93% of the 1,981 candidates in the race. Now, in the wake of the anger boiling on the streets, Jamaat has promised to include women in the cabinet if they win. But the fact remains that the party has not fielded a single woman candidate in these upcoming elections. Such openly misogynistic rhetoric risks alienating women voters, including those who have traditionally supported religion-based parties in Bangladesh. The current wave of protests could shrink Jamaat-e-Islami's appeal among women and push female voters toward the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, who could stand to gain. The 12th February parliamentary election has already been transformed by the return of the BNP acting chairperson Tariq Rahman after 17 years of exile. His homecoming has turned the vote into a referendum on governance, democratic restoration, and the future direction of the country. Despite the personal tragedy of losing his mother, Khalida Zia, who was the former Prime Minister, Tariq Rahman has moved quickly from mourning to mobilization. He has taken his campaign directly to the voters, touring the northern districts, addressing large divisional rallies and reconnecting with his party's roots, including a visit to his father, Ziaur Rahman's grave, for the first time in nearly 2 decades. With Sheikh Hasina's Awami League banned, the BNP and Jamaat are the two most powerful political forces that are left in Bangladesh at the moment. One of these parties are likely to chart the way forward for Bangladesh, with both promising different future directions. The anger over misogyny and religious politics may quietly translate into electoral consequences. A shift in women's votes away from Jamaat and toward the BNP could alter the future of Bangladesh. From trade deals, let's talk about defense deals. India's Rafales are about to hit harder as New Delhi and Paris fast-track major defense deals. India's air power is entering a new league. India is reportedly working to seal a deal for over 100 Rafale jets. These stealth jets would also get a major boost with the addition of 2 deadly weapon systems. So a blend of deadlier missiles, longer reach, and faster strikes. Our next report has more details.
India is moving swiftly to arm its Rafale fighter jets with the Scalp long-range cruise missile and the Meteor beyond visual range air-to-air missile. These weapons, designed to strike first and strike deep. The negotiations with France are being accelerated as part of a broader defense push that could also see India clear a massive deal for 114 new Rafale jets. Scalp is the game changer on the ground. Fired from high altitude, it can fly hundreds of kilometers, hugging terrain, evading radar, and smashing hardened targets with surgical precision. Bunkers, command centers, strategic infrastructure. Once launched, there is little warning and even less defense. Meteor dominates the skies, powered by a ram jet engine. It maintains speed deep into combat range, giving Rafale pilots unmatched kill probability against enemy aircraft. Unlike traditional missiles, Meteor doesn't lose energy at the final moment. It hunts relentlessly. Together, Scalp and Meteor turn Rafale into a lethal multi-role predator, capable of air dominance and deep strike missions in a single sortie. This follows the staggering success of Operation Sindoor last year, where Rafales reportedly used Scalp missiles to obliterate terrorist headquarters in Pakistan's Muridke and Bahawalpur with pinpoint precision. The deal for Scalp missiles alone is reportedly estimated at nearly $385 million. Add the potential clearance of 114 Rafale jets, a deal that could run into about $40 billion US. The message is unmistakable. India is investing in deterrence, not symbolism. Timing matters. Regional threats are evolving. Airspace is contested. Precision and speed now decide outcomes. not numbers alone. These upgrades allow India to strike targets without crossing borders, hit first if needed, and control escalation. French President Emmanuel Macron's upcoming India visit adds momentum. Defense ties between India and France are already deep. This phase makes them sharper. For the Indian Air Force, this is not just modernization, it is transformation. Bureau Report, WION World is One.